What's up, guys? My name is Destiny and I'm a licensed speech language pathologist, which is also known as an SLP. I take videos on the internet and analyze them from an SLP's perspective. So today we're going to be looking at Robert F. Kennedy Jr., also known as RFK Jr. He's been all over the internet lately because he's running for president in 2024. He has a very unique voice, and this has caused a lot of questions on the internet as to what's going on. So I thought I'd watch a clip of him speaking and give my perspective on what's going on.
President Biden has a bust of your father in the Oval Office. When you see that, what do you think?
Well, I'm honored by it. And, I have a lot of admiration for President Biden for the service that he's given to our country. I've known him. He's been my friend, my close family friend for 40 years.
So right away, his voice sounds drastically different from the announcer, right? So I'm just going to keep listening for a little bit longer, but I already kind of have an idea.
And, there's nothing personal about this campaign. I am not going to run a mean-spirited campaign or a personal campaign against President Biden. He and I just differ really dramatically on issues like the war, like censorship, the control of Wall Street and the big corporations of our federal government, and the pharmaceutical companies, and also the use of fear as a governing tool. And I think our country's headed in a bad direction, and that's why I'm running, but not because I lack of personal affection for President Biden.
What do I think is going on with him? He definitely has a voice disorder. I think he has a voice disorder which is called spasmodic dysphonia. Spasmodic dysphonia, or SD, is a disorder of the central nervous system. So it's something going on in your brain that's causing the issue that you notice in your voice. There are 3 different types of SD, but one of them has to do with the vocal cords slamming shut suddenly. One of them has to do with them opening suddenly, and one of them is a mix of both things. The one that's more common and the one that it seems like RFK has is the first one, which is called adductor spasmodic dysphonia, and basically that is when the vocal cords are slamming shut all of a sudden or without his control. What you'll notice in the voice is what you see with him is that it kind of sounds strained, and the melody kind of goes up and down. It seems like he's having a really hard time kind of like getting his words out. It sounds like he's being strangled almost, and that essentially is kind of what's happening in his throat. The vocal cords are closing up on him, and this is out of his control. One thing that's interesting about SD is that they don't really know what causes it, and they have some theories about what's going on. It can be brought on genetically. So if someone in your family has it, then you might be more predisposed to getting it yourself. It could also be brought on by injury. It could be brought on by stress. Illness can cause it. So if you have like a really bad bout of the flu, that might bring it on, but they're not really sure exactly what's going on in the brain that causes this to start. But once it starts, there's no cure for it. There's only ways to manage it. So there really is mostly medical management of SD. There are things that speech pathologists can do to help, but you're going to go to a doctor more likely first. And that doctor is probably going to be an otolaryngologist, which is also known as an ENT, or an ear, nose, and throat doctor. They have a couple of treatment options that they can do. The first one would be injecting a vocal cord with Botox, and that would literally just be to stop it from moving. Botox relaxes muscles, and so it basically would just relax that vocal cord and cause it not to react as violently and cause as much strain in the voice. There are a few ways that a speech pathologist can help with this disorder, but unfortunately most of it would be after medical intervention is done. What we would be doing is managing the symptoms. There's some research that says that whispering, singing, and laughing can help because they work around the pathway from the brain to the vocal cords that tells the body that they're speaking. An SLP would basically be helping them to compensate by teaching them those strategies to make their speech sound a little more natural. All right, that does it for this video. I hope you found it entertaining. If you enjoy watching this channel, definitely subscribe so that you don't miss out on future videos, and I'll see you in the next one.